Holy Lord.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Superintendent report. Well, we're going to begin the evening with the AOK Awards, and I see there's quite a nice turnout. Just so you know, this was an idea that we had to increase positivity. And kids and adults do things, acts of kindness, and they go unnoticed. And I think we need to focus on acts of kindness with at least the same amount of attention we give to negative behaviors. So it's my pleasure to give out a record number of awards tonight. Let me go over by the podium.
Do you need the microphone?
I can take it.
Okay.
I just need a place to put these. Joshua Babcock. Is Miss Robinson here? I didn't see.
No, she couldn't be here this evening.
Well, Joshua is getting an award. Josh saw a fellow classmate sitting alone and crying. Josh raised his hand and asked if he could join with that child. Very nice, Josh. And this gets you a free ice cream at the corner store. If you don't want it, I'll take it. Congratulations, good job. Olivia Gonzalez. Olivia, congratulations. Kristen, did you want to say anything?
Yeah, I'm going to say, with the social media and texting and everything, what it is today, there was a conflict with two girls in Olivia's class, and instead of one of the girls creating some kind of a group chat or something to gossip about the situation, and Olivia put the kibosh on it so that the girls could work on it and talk face to face.
Good job. Luke Potter.
Looks not here.
Luke was getting an award because he goes out of his way to help clean up after lunch. Mark Smith.
See her.
Mrs. Kurtzman, is she here? No, she would be standing. School community during recess, Mark cleaned up the playground, collecting papers and recyclables. Very nice. Good job. And these are all things that our kids do without looking for anything. And if we catch them being good, that's a great thing. Madison Bennell. And Madison, without anybody asking, helped clean up a mess after a basketball game. And Anthony nominated you. And congratulations, Madison. Enjoy your ice cream. Lindsay Zagrodic. Nominated by Anthony. Lindsay helped me clean up a mess that was left in the stands after a basketball game. Very nice. Gabriella Canfield. Mrs. Osa, is she here? No. Gabby was helpful to a student who often has a lot of difficulty socially. She saw he was becoming frustrated, reached out to him, a few kind words, and the student was okay. Jocelyn Bush. you have the unique honor of being nominated by me. I was at the basketball game, and the girls had spilled a lot of water. I don't know where all that water came from. And I was in my boot trying to clean up, and Jocelyn, without anybody asking, got some paper towels, came in and helped me clean it. Thank you. Taylor Reed. And of course, there's Jocelyn, here's Kayla. And Kayla helped me do the same thing that night, and you did a great job. Lily Gonzalez. And Lily recognized that Mrs. Paddle is not feeling her normal cheerful self. She's not tonight either, she's homesick. And asked if everything was okay and if she needed anything. That's very important. Margaret Patel. Mudra, you were nominated by Kaylee Mohan, who came here tonight. She said, as I was walking up to my first period, my hands were full and I spilled coffee on myself. Mudra, is that how you say it? Mudra? Mudra offered me a hand and brought my coffee all the way up to Mrs. Padula's class. I don't know why she had coffee, but that's okay. I didn't ask her for help. I didn't ask her to carry it all the way up, but she did. I feel she displays kindness wherever she goes and is extremely deserving of this award. Kaylee is the only student I let nominate another student because she sits on the board. And the next award is for Anthony Delavar. And we all know Anthony. And he's nominated by the Nibbs family. And the Nibbs family writes that my 8-year-old nephew was visiting on senior night, and he made him feel a part of the hive by getting him a t-shirt and a water bottle. My nephew had the biggest smile on his face, and we were touched that he did such a nice thing for a kid he didn't even know. Not to mention, he takes great care of my kids, and they adore him. So this is for Anthony. Thank you all for coming tonight for the awards. Before, you can stay for the budget presentation, or you can exit at your will. Don't feel under any obligation to stay. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
See you later.
Continuing with my report, the coronavirus. We have maintained our buildings very well. Most times when schools close, they close to do a deep cleaning. We're doing that kind of cleaning on a regular basis. They're opening the windows when they clean so that we're airing out the buildings. And the transportation department is disinfecting the buses much more frequently than they did before. The backs of the seats, as you can imagine, kids put their mouths on there, they put other things on there, the buckles, the rails on the bus, those are all done every day. We bought 2 machines today that when they come in, we can fog the bus at the end of the road to disinfect. As you can imagine, they're on back order because of the virus. We have plans to continue education in the event that we're forced to close. Every teacher has prepared at least 2 weeks of plans for the kids to take home. In the elementary, most of the work is skill-based and they can practice at home. The secondary will work with the Chromebooks via the internet. and they have at least 2 weeks of plans for the kids. I don't think we'll be ordered to close for more than that, I hope not. And I hope that in the event we are ordered to close, that we are compensated for those days since education is continued. This summer, we're going to have academic summer school for grades 7 to 9, and Caleb will talk about the expense when he does his report. If we catch kids in the 7th and 8th grade when they're behind and put them on track academically before they get into high school grades, they're much more apt to be successful in high school. They do get promoted because you can't have a 7th grader driving to school. So they get promoted, and I'm not a fan of retention instead of everybody else. But when we promote them into the next grade, they don't have the foundation of the grade prior. We're creating a problem down the road. So this academic summer school is designed to improve our outcomes at the high school level and to help kids. I have a new staff request for an ELL/reading teacher. We have to have an ELL teacher. By regulation, we have to provide a service. I'm asking for a technology teacher for the high school, junior high school, to help meet the needs of the technology requirement for 7th and 8th graders. And eventually, I'm going to work with Tracy, and we're going to make that technology some kind of wood work. So I'm going to get there somehow. And the other position I'm asking for is a special education teacher at the elementary. We have a pull-out model now, and I want to change that to a push-in model. And in order to push in, you need more staff, because it's not as efficient as pulling out. But it's a lot better for the kids, and it's less of a social stigma, and the regular ed teacher can work with the special ed teacher for all of the kids, and they can't do that with a pull-out model. March 2nd, we had a power outage, and we closed early, we only lost an hour. If that happened early in the morning, we would have lost a day. The good news is that beginning with the next school year, we're going to have a generator for the well. It's a 3-phase system. They're converting it to a 1-phase well pump, and we'll have a generator devoted to that pump. Because the reason I have to close is because the toilets don't flush. I can only keep the kids for an hour once the power goes out because of the toilets. So if we can flush, we can stay open. Conference day tomorrow, mathematics is going to be covered at the elementary level with the new program, and Scott will probably talk more about that. And we're going to have presentations for all the staff on suicide prevention. So Monday, we were supposed to have training for DASA for all of our kids as a follow-up to the staff being trained. NICET canceled our training for the kids because they said they're not sending anybody out to work because of the virus. So when things return to normal, we will train our students officially with someone who's a specialist in that. And I just hope we don't have to close, but if we do, I'm not closing. I may be closed, but I don't see any situation where I initiate the closing. Because the only purpose of close is to deep clean. And as I said, we do that all the time. Any questions from the board?
I have a couple.
Okay.
Regarding the academic summer school program, grades 7 through 9, that's exclusive just to those grades?
Yes.
Okay. And what about the other 2 grades? Should
They can go to Liberty for summer school through BOCES, as they always have.
Okay. The other question that I have regarding the generator, where are we getting that money from?
That's in the budget.
It's in the budget for next year.
Yeah, I didn't put it on a slide, that's one that I
It's,
missed on there.
it's not the 400,000 we were quoted for a generator for the building. It's about 10 grand.
It's on the smaller
I
scale.
figured 19 when it's all said and done. labor, everything.
It's the kind of generator you put in your house. This is gonna run, it'll run the well pump and it'll be a backup for the freezer for the kitchen.
Yeah, a lot of times what ends up happening, it happened 3 times this year, 3 times last year, and I don't know how many times the year before. Because the power's really only actually out for like 2 or 3 hours, and then we end up losing the whole day because we're not allowed to keep them longer than that. But you know,
Once
that's
I make
like,
the decision to bring back the drivers, and that takes about an hour, because they go home. If the power comes back on in half an hour after I decide that, they're going home. Because I can't have the drivers coming and going and then coming back again. So,
Unfortunately, with power cut, they'll tell you now further than it's really gonna be.
right, which makes sense for
They
them.
don't want to box themselves in.
or they won't tell you when to get over.
So the bed's too small.
Other questions?
In the event, the possibility of closing with the Chromebooks, do they work, the student does not have internet after?
They do have a small, you can store it, so they can do work offline. It is a small amount that they have internal storage. We have been, I'm actually talking with Ms. Rodriguez because these Chromebooks do allow the SD cards to be put in, and that would increase their memory. So they can work offline, so.
Would the kids have to get, I'm asking as my son, when he's at his dad's, we're on internet.
Right.
So he comes to my house when he has to do internet work, so I just want to make sure it's not only 7 home time. And I know there's a few other families that do not have internet.
Yes, and we've been kind of navigating and planning on if a child doesn't have access to the internet and if they don't, if their device doesn't really work as well. So that's how we're looking at making sure these can operate offline, and that's with the SD cards. That does give them some space. You can download the entire Google stuff so that they can work on their documents, everything, and then if they go to a hotspot or an area, it'll automatically upload it.
But it does show the wisdom in our initiative that Tracy did, in giving each kid a Chromebook. Because that's coming in very handy now.
Well, I spoke to my higher ups where I work, and I said, you should follow Eldred's model, because they've been ready for a month now, and we're not ready. So I appreciate that for my own children.
So with the summer school, what's the hours?
Right now, the hours would be like 9 to 12:30, 9 to 1.
And we plan on feeding them breakfast minimally, we may give them a meal to bring home for lunch.
So with that being said, because I got the number here, $25,000 for summer school, how much is it for the feed?
To feed them is probably not going to be any more than $1,500. It's 19 days. Breakfasts usually run around $1.25. We're figuring it's going to be 25 kids. If we have one staff member for 2 hours, that's going to cost us about $50 per day. If we have 2 staff members, if one of them is one of the part-timers, they're going to cost about $30. So altogether, the cost about $100 a day, 19 days, $1,900 would be tops. But with 25 kids, Jill has told me that she thinks one person can handle it, which means it would be less than 1,900.
So we're roughly $26,500.
No. That 25 is for salaries, so it's 21 for the teachers, and then I'm not sure how it's going to work in the principal's contract, if they get a stipend or whatever, so I just allow for that. If there isn't one, then we'll come under and we can allocate that elsewhere.
So
Then
max will be 25,000.
it's salaries.
Salaries.
It's salaries.
That's if we don't have the SRO.
That's right, and
If
the
we have
end,
Anthony as a security.
that big ugly contractual number, that 15, that's an SRO. They're $7,000 a month. If we have Anthony instead, it's gonna be way less than that. But of course, I'm very conservative, so if you get an SRO,
I don't
the
think.
money's allocated for that. And then we can use that money for some other kind of initiative.
So not to jump ahead here a little bit, so we're doing the math here.
Yep,
Teachers that we're looking at, put on staff. What kind of number are we looking at here?
that's what I was talking about, that's 21 for the teachers.
You figured high.
I figured that we hire,
No.
And actually
I'm talking
Tracy.
about teachers that were hired, not teachers that were working for summer school.
okay.
Because I'm jumping, like I said, I'm jumping ahead, I'm looking at $19,000 for a generator, $25,000 for summer school.
Yeah.
I'm looking at hiring teachers
Yeah,
at whatever number, I mean, I don't know what the number is, but.
So it's, I budgeted 60 for 2 of the teachers. Those are teachers that would be between step 1 and step 5. And I budgeted 75 for another teacher. I believe that was the tech ed teacher because they can be trickier to find. So I need to allow for us to go up to a higher step. That's what's on there for each of them.
And that's built into the budget.
We're planning
That's in the
on one
budget,
first
yeah.
grade next year.
That's $195,000 for teachers. $5,000 for summer school,
Yep,
$80,000 for parents.
correct.
We're well with 200 grand.
That is correct.
You got that all budgeted?
I have up to almost $600,000 budgeted.
Outstanding. That's all, listen, that's all I'm looking at. I'm looking at, these big dollar signs coming up, kind of like, where are we getting this money from? Because last year, we,
Well,
we knew where we come from.
Yeah.
That's why I'm trying to keep an eye on things here a little bit.
Oh,
because-
I'm
And I'm not questioning you, believe me, but I just want to make sure it's clear to everybody how we're doing this. because
Question.
Are we
Do
gonna
it.
have something for a reserve fund like we had last year, and that's all said and done?
Yes, and I have 350,000 that's going in, that's in the budget. So that's part of that 18 million. There's 350 that's just going straight into the taxer. I'm anticipating another 150 and up. I always build 300.
So
There's
that we're
always
not,
300 built
We're
in.
getting to the reserve fund, even with all these expenses.
so,
Correct.
How much?
350 is provided for, but my anticipation is actually
So we're
500.
putting these 350,000 in the fund balance with all these expenses.
But I'm expecting actually 500 because that's what we talked about. But you got to build. I got to build a buffer. We had some savings in a few areas that I can tell you about.
so all this being said here, we're not depending on the new budget. We can do this if the budget doesn't go through.
No,
No. The budget doesn't.
all of this is
Well,
gone.
I want to be clear.
We can't do any.
Absolutely none of this is happening.
No.
Okay, that's what I want to be clear about.
We can't spend any more than we spent this year. We won't do summer school, and we won't hire any of these teachers.
Yeah, no, there's no way we're going to afford that without that.
So we're banking on a new budget,
Absolutely.
which is, I'm positive. I
Um,
just want to be clear on it.
And
But if people, we have made significant fiscal progress. But if people think if this budget doesn't pass, everything will be okay, it won't be okay. We'll go back a couple of years, and that'll be a shame, because we've made a lot of progress.
We have 2 big savings areas that some of the equipment side of stuff is coming from, which I didn't put in my budget presentation, so I'll bring it out here. Is that these aren't necessarily going to be forever changes. So this is where I took equipment. You're going to see transportation equipment, the well, things like that. They're great for one-time expenditures. One of the bonds came up. That was $150,000. I said, well, if we don't have a bond put up right now, then I'm gonna take that money and we can buy equipment that's going out, because that's one time shot. And then we had, the way BOCES bills your, VOTEC is they use the average of the last 2 years. We unfortunately had very low participation. We opened it up to everybody, so everybody who wants to be in the program is in the program. But we had low participation the last 2 years. That number has jumped down from, we were paying $435. We're gonna pay less than what I put on there, which was $335. I mean, it's $100 and some odd $1,000 less. The average dropped by like 7, 8 kids at 14 fees. So that's where I got some of the equipment money, because I can't bank on that being forever. I mean, we can have more kids go in and then.
But if we have the money, and we will if the budget passes, I'd like to do these things because we're here for the kids. And the more we put the money toward the kids, the more our kids are going to be able to move on.
So I just have a quick question. So since you mentioned about going to only one first grade next year, is that a definite?
Well, right now we have what, 24 kids? 23?
23 in kindergarten.
So, and I don't mean to sound at all disrespectful, but just being that when you had mentioned the 7th and 8th graders as front loading, because then it'll deter them learning later on. In kindergarten and first grade, you're learning to read. So 24 students in a first grade class is hard to do small group reading at their needs. And
meeting?
Well, we can assess it, we can always get in touch with you, we have to.
Yes.
You know, we can usually,
But I think 23 is a reasonable number.
give it a shot, it's a lot, we can adjust it from there. Right?
Any other questions?
Discussions? District treasurer. District budget, fund.
Well, we already kind of covered a lot of stuff, but let's go up. Okay, let me grab a.
Okay, so I'm just going to give you a quick overview of the budget, and then I'll just tell you what's in it. And then you guys got copies for you to review. The total revenue and the expenditures always have to match the revenue. It's $18,364,424. That's pretty much entirely because of the compressor station. We're expecting tax revenue to go $11,075,000. It's a very round number. It's for a reason which you'll see later is to keep tax rates at whatever they were in 1819. They'll be a little bit below what they were in 1819. Total expenditures are broken down as follows. 12.5% is on general support, 50% is on construction, transportation, employee benefit, our debt service are 7%. Employee benefits, of course, are always a big part of school districts. And then down here is the transfer to other funds. This is money that's already set aside to go into the reserves. So 350 is going into the reserves, 75 goes to our cafeteria fund, and 30 is money that we have to match for federal programs. So for summer school, special ed, state covers 80%, we cover 20%. It gets paid for at a special aid fund, and I bring 30,000 over. So if you ever wonder on that budget sheet, you always see the same 30 going over. So we bring around 30 that have to match for summer school. We have a number of instructional initiatives, safety initiatives, and facilities and transportation initiatives that we're going to use this money for. And we're also using some of our savings for those as well. So the debt service that I talked to you about and the VOTEC students, the price coming down, that's a good opportunity to use for equipment. Those numbers can go back up, so you don't want high rates on that, but it's definitely good for equipment money. So,
Sorry, I'm just looking at operations of plants.
yeah.
So we went up 55,000.
Yeah. That's on the second slide. Yep. Yeah, definitely going to go all that. So one of the instructional initiatives, last year we had approved the appointment of the director of instructional services. We're going to fill that position now. We didn't do it this year. They're going to focus largely on updating the development of curriculum. They're going to do some grant stuff, and I'm sure Dr. Morgan will do it. That's why you're going to see them in a new category of curriculum development. We're creating a summer school program. I budgeted $45,000. That's a very conservative number that we can almost certainly come under. And then there's a $10,000 offset. We're paying most of these $10,000 right now for the 7th through 9th graders, which is where most of our summer school students sit. So the total cost is $35,000, but of course I have to budget the expenditure. And a lot of that is the SRO. If we don't do the SRO, it'll be $10,000 less. The addition of special education teachers, Dr. Morgana said, to start doing push in instead of pull out, because it's less restricted for the students, better for the student. The addition of technology teacher in the high school, which we talked about, and an ESL teacher, which we have a preference for second certification in reading. That might not be possible to find, but if we can, that would be excellent.
And the reason that it works out so well is because ESL you can have 3 or 4 kids move in, and they can have a full caseload, and you can have 2 or 3 move out, and we can't hire a part-time person who'll never get them, and we have a need in reading, so it'll just fluctuate. So we really have to find that person.
Yeah, second certification is something.
Could you explain to me what ESL is?
ESL is English as a second language. So when you
Now it's
now we'll know that that's the student, is the English language learner. So the student is an English language learner, so you get somebody who's foreign-born and doesn't know any English. And then the teacher is English as a second language teacher. So the state requires us to have one 3 students now, which gives them about 2.5 days of work. OCs doesn't have anybody to lend to us, and he can't find anybody part-time. So we're kind of a rock hard place on that. We have to meet state mandates. So optimally, if we can find somebody who has a second certification, then during the 2.5 days that they're not doing English language learning or teaching, then they can be put elsewhere. We have a few safety initiatives. We want to upgrade the current camera systems to just get better surveillance of the school district, see what's going on, integrating our security systems for both buildings. Currently, we have 2 vendors, and we are meeting with a vendor right now who will be able to integrate our fire, our security, our card systems, and possibly our camera systems all together, which will just make everything flow better from a security standpoint. New radio equipment, which this actually will save us money in the long run. This radio equipment, which is a lot of that $85,000 you're asking about, would cost about $50,000 from BOCES. That will get 50% aid, so the next year we'll get $27,000 from BOCES. On top of that, that will eliminate $15,000 a year lease that we currently have on all of our current radio equipment. We'll own the repeaters, so we won't need repeater service. And we would own the radios. Radios have about a 5-year life. The repeaters have about a 20-year life. The repeaters are about 25,000 in this. So maybe every 5 to 10 years, you have to replace $24,000 to $25,000 in important radio equipment instead of paying $15,000 a year. It requires a significant 1-year investment, but it will pay for itself in 2 years. And then after that's just all money back. And then we'd like to get on-demand GPS for the school buses. This year I actually added GPS to the school buses, but it's not on-demand, as in I can't get it. Where is the bus? Right this second. It's not very far delayed, but it just costs a little extra to get the bus at that moment, so you can watch the bus move, rather than saying, here's where the bus was 10 minutes ago. For facilities and transportation, the main things you're going to see on there is if you go to the transportation area, 2 of the vans have become obsolete. They can't pass DOT inspection because they can't transport students in them. That makes small trips where I have, say, 1 student that needs to take an entire bus. One of the big buses is about 6 miles a gallon. So we're going to replace 2 of those vans. And then our snowplow is up as well. That is no longer passive protection. So they need 1 vehicle, for the, at least for the bus garage and the elementary to help plow that out. The play area in the elementary school is in there. That's about $8,000. That's after their building repairs, because I believe that's part of the ceiling project. These 2 are separate. The play area, what I mean is that you would talk about expanding that pad up there. So that's that. That would cost $8,000 to do that pad. So to double that area would be $108,000. And they do that as part of the driveway ceiling project. So it's cramming the building repairs right now. The playground equipment, the big play area over there has been deteriorating. At some point, we're going to have to replace that. I'd rather not wait until
Our insurance company wants to go.
they would prefer it to be gone, yes. And I don't want to wait until it becomes an actual problem. Insurance companies are fighting to be cautious, but
Talking about the playground on this side of it?
yes, the big one, yeah, the big one. Yeah.
We're replacing.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah, that's
to
the
replace that, you have to replace the ground, and it's very, you can't put wood chips or anything, it has to be a special rubber, and it's not cheap. And the cost of the lawsuits is built in to the cost of the playground equipment. So the playground equipment is very expensive because the manufacturer builds in lawsuits with the cost of the product.
And then I have a number of, these are smaller initiatives by themselves, but together they have quite a bit. So if you look, I think it's in computer technology, both these services, we order a lot of computer equipment thinking that number. That's because one, we have to replace X amount of Chromebooks, laptops, desktops each year. And I am slowly replacing our networks, which the state quoted $120,000, but I've been replacing them 20,000 at a time. We did 20,000 this year, which got paid for actually by E-rate, 75% of it anyway. I got a grant for it. We got a grant last year for it. They say they're going to continue the grant next year, but for now it's budgeted in there. It has not been a reject grant. Either way, they need to get replaced. I think that is it for large. I didn't put the generator on there, so that was another item that is in with the equipment. The generator itself, you were correct, by the way, was 10,000. The 19,000 that I put in there was to make the well needs to be made pre-phase or single phase, yeah. So that was the extra money in there. And then I always, if they come to say it's 16,730,
the crane,
I put 19, it's going to go up. Yep, and anytime you get construction work done or any kind of labor intensive work done, I bump the number up from the quote. Because you can and will get change orders. It's not uncommon at all, so you'll see that when I do stuff. And so when I thought it would be $22,000 IoT for summer school, I budgeted 25. That way if something happens, I'm not sitting there without money. As far as school tax rates, I just made this table to show 18, 19 rates and 20, 21 rates. This, I realize now, is probably confusing to people, but there's something called omits and programs that adjusts these numbers. It's an exemption-based thing, probably not something for the layperson, but these are the rates. So they're actually going to be a little less than 18, 19. Mostly because we're talking about fractional cents, so I'd rather go less than more, because we promise to keep them the same. So you see that everyone in Tustin this is not apples to oranges, unfortunately. Tustin in the last year had their equalization rate changed, but it is still less. It's not that much less. That's because of the equalization rate. Now, just to get this out again, and I know I've probably thrown on endlessly about the compressor station money, but just so everybody understands the compressor station money, because people may ask. School only receives the taxes we levy. So, I've heard people say, well, what are you doing with the money from the compressor station? The answer is, I don't have any money from the compressor station. I get, if I ask, which last year we asked for 10.6 million, I get 10.6. Doesn't matter if $1 billion comes off the actuals, I get 10.6. That's what I asked for. So, no additional revenue has been realized as a result of the compressor station act. School only receives economic benefit from the compressor station through a higher tax cap, which we have this year, which allows us to increase tax revenue without increasing tax rates. Unfortunately, that's lagged by 1 year. So that's why taxes go down in 1920 and must revert back to the 1819 levels if we're going to receive any benefit at all from the compressor station. If the budget doesn't pass, then the district will not only realize no benefit of the compressor station, but will actually be severely harmed by it. What's eventually going to happen is that's going to go into our land law. They're going to say, you have $87 million more land law. We're going to give you a little bit less state aid. But we're not going to have gotten any revenue from this if the budget goes down. So it's very important that this goes through. Also, if they do a tax surge, which I hope they don't, maybe they keep it at 87 million, but they do a tax surge and the budget went down, we didn't get money from them. We're paying back money without ever getting any real extra revenue. So it is important. We're on better footing financially, but it is important that we pass the budget and realize some economic benefit from the compressor station. And that's all I have. You have any questions?
So I know that when we first started talking about the budget, you mentioned that you said about $350 aside to be put into reserve funds.
Right.
Do we have separate, in the case that a tax cert is levied, do we have a separate account for that?
So after I did some more legal research on tax reserves, we can't set up an actual tax reserve until they make a motion. Unfortunately, grievance day is on May 6th.
That was gonna be my next question.
So I can't set up a tax reserve until they grieve on, I think it's May 6th, isn't it now? What day is it this year? May 26th. Okay, so I can't. So I can't set up a tax reserve until May 26th when they grieve. But I passed my budget on May 19th. So you don't need, this is a unique reserve as well, you don't need public approval to create one. It's one of the only reserves that you don't need public approval for. So we could, in theory, switch to 350, which when you approve it in April, I'm mostly going to put, I think, into the LR account, which is our paying out benefits. And this way, we don't have to worry that it may be used again that much time or it's there. We can move that into a tax reserve. So the second they go and say, you move your funds into that.
Where would that be as a reserve fund?
And what do you mean, which?
It would be used to reallocate money to a tax reserve.
Oh, well, then we just basically put it into another reserve that could be moved into a tax reserve.
Right, then we would be essentially in danger of being not at the same place that we were.
How much is in now?
How much is in which reserve?
Did we go up to $600,000 aside somewhere in case we
Who fund that?
I will have 600 or possibly more in the fund balance at the end of this year.
Okay.
So that's going to be
That was
your,
the question.
that's going to be your 4%.
Calendar.
Oh, I'm sorry, let me restructure this. This is restricted reserves that I'm talking about now. We're actually going to be near the 4% this year. I got a OC refund that was much larger than I had expected. And you'll see on there that 375 is budgeted for OC refunds. Well, they refunded all the school districts back. We all discussed it, more than what we expected. I got a $620,000 OC refund. So we're going to come close to 600 now. But unfortunately, most of your funds are not
That's-
in every year recurring.
That's negative.
That's from negative 65,000 when we started. So we'll be at or around $600,000. And then 350 is going to go to a restricted reserve. I wanted it to be a tax reserve. I'm not legally allowed to create one until they do it. So I'm going to park it in a different one.
But we can go from.
You're right, because our reserves are by no means fully funded either. We still don't have even 3 months of operating income. We have like 2 months. So, I don't have between 3 and 6 months of operating income in reserve. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. But when I talk about reserves, I'm sorry, I do need to separate it. The unappropriated reserve is now in good shape. And that's the money you use for whatever you want.
That's when I was.
And you're not allowed to set aside money for that. So the one I'm putting it into is a restricted reserve.
The controller's office was not happy with the negative.
They were not.
It's a year.
So I made a phone call this week to find out whether she might not sell that for previous day.
And they might not.
They might not.
I mean, because if they try 150, they might get a lot of those other towns coming back that let them in at like 20 something and say, maybe our compressor station's worth 52. So they might gain a little bit here, lose a lot, but other towns that will willing to take that lower valuation.
The talk is that they're going to pay us.
I figured.
Also, it is what it is.
And that's why I set some money aside on this, on top of the buffer.
And I'm not even sure previous day, May 26th, I think they have to have their, I think what I was told, they have to have it in, but they want to be there.
Right, and it can't be in the family, it has to be there on the desk.
Right, get it posted. It's
Right.
got to be
It's
there.
got to be there.
Okay, we're looking at the teaching regular school, mostly services.
Teaching regular school OC services, that has a number of things. You know what, that was something that I had been discussing that we probably get allocated somewhere else by the April budget. That was another position that I was talking with Dr. Morano about adding. I discussed with him today, we're not going to need to add it. So I may take that.
Oh, we need it.
So I'm going to take that, put that in the reserve fund, that might be used to be in contractual. I took it out. And then last year, contractual was so high because if you remember, we gave the bus drivers that incentive, which helped us. But I thought for a moment I was going to have to contract out 2 routes. We're contracting out no routes. So that 266 is out, and another $150,000 for those 2 routes out. And so that because of the 90 ramp up. And that 90 will actually be lessened if we do this radio thing, because that involves our radio equipment. So that's where some of that radio equipment. So what will happen is we buy the radio equipment, it'll come out of the buildings, and I'll just move that up to cover the radio equipment. So there's some offset for that.
Any other questions, Shaquille? Thank you, sir. Good job. Elementary principal.
So first, let me, thank you. Let me say how proud I am of the staff here at Mackenzie, and we've had a lot of conversations about the coronavirus and things that we're going to do, and each and every time we've had that conversation, they've gone above and beyond by making sure that parents are communicated with, that they've had materials ready should we end up closing, or packets are already put together. They put things up on their computers. So I'm hoping we don't get to that point, but I just wanted to reinforce how proud I am with what they've been doing to kind of reassure kids also. We've talked about how the students come to the elementary school looking to their teachers to reassure them that things will be okay, and have a dialogue with them and let them know that their questions are being answered. So it's really been, taking a what-if situation and made it at least a learning experience for the kids. And hopefully they're coming home and sharing that they don't feel left out and kind of understand what could happen should we need to close and be home for a period of time. So the teachers have really been at the forefront for all of that. And along with that, we continue to educate our kids. This past weekend, they went to Tri-Valley for our All-County Music Festival. We had 18 elementary students that participated in the music festival this past weekend. So we're happy with that. Our next year, our pre-K and kindergarten, we did an open enrollment period this past week, concluded. We have 22 pre-K students that have signed up for our pre-K program, and we have 18 slots. So we'll do our lottery tomorrow afternoon here at Mackenzie. We have upcoming, we had a DASA presentation that was going to be the same one that we did for our staff, for our students, but because of the concerns with the coronavirus, NICET, who has overseen those presentations for our staff, and we're going to come in with our students on Monday, decided that they weren't going to send a trainer. So we're not going to have that Monday, but we do have some other things upcoming. We have on March 19th for our students, we have our Mad Science Assembly, so that's going to take place, and we also have a Music in Our Schools Month Assembly taking place next Wednesday. So those are 2 events that we're still going to have. PTA has a family fun night upcoming. PTA has a hockey game upcoming, maybe. And we have the discount card sale that's coming up for the discount cards for, I think they offer them for Monticello, Port Jervis, there might be a Middletown one. I think there were 3 of them that they offer. So the PTA is going to start that on April 1st.
April 1st, all right. I always like those.
April 1st, yes. Everybody likes them. They're like $10 or $15, and you get quite a few off, especially if you like Burger King or
Yep.
McDonald's, yes.
Double sandwiches.
Tomorrow afternoon, we talked about math. I reached out to Houghton Mifflin Hardcore for their math series. We're going to have a presentation for our elementary teachers on their program. We've been working back and forth, so hopefully that'll go well. We've had resources here for them to look through. And I think that's all I have. We have our testing. So our ELA assessment we do on computers. That'll be forthcoming March 24th and 25th. We're anticipating having computer-based testing again this year. Let me just add, the ELL teacher, right now, We do have what Caleb said, the need for a part-time person. We have somebody that's filling into that position that's a substitute in the position currently for the remainder of the school year, because I did a search for a part-time person and we were not successful in finding any candidates. So I did have a couple of people, 5 actually applied for the position when it was part-time, and 2 of them had certification and neither of them were willing to come for a part-time position, but I kind of had suggested keep an eye on OLAS. If something comes full-time, they can reapply. So the other 3 that applied were not certified, and that's typically what I've been hearing from other districts. They're hiring certified regular teachers and saying if you come into our position, if you allow yourself to go and get certified in ELL, they would accept that, or ESL, they would accept them as a teacher. So that's kind of, I talked with a lot of my colleagues, they do have a number of people that are in those positions that are not certified as ESL, they're just certified and they're going back for certification. So that position has been a need that we've had. We've kind of piecemealed it together, and it's a difficult certification for people to wish to come up here. A lot of them like to stay closer to home, and many of them have other homes that are not up here in Eldred. So that's kind of been a difficult thing, and we're hoping that we will be able to find someone if you approve that position. Okay?
Any questions, Mr. President?
Okay.
So first of all, I was very happy to find out that one of our sophomores, Caitlin Potter, she has been accepted into the Harvard Summer School, and it's their pre-college program. So as soon as school ends, she gets to go up to Harvard and start another school. And it's a very exclusive program. She did the application process herself, and it is an amazing thing. They don't, as they put it, it is a college program for high school students. So it's not a college, it's not a high school program. So she's looking forward to that. I definitely congratulate her on her hard work getting accepted into a prestigious program. This past week we did Global Fair 2020, which that was my first Global Fair, and I was extremely impressed with the projects. So it's definitely a big thank you to Mr. Glantz for organizing it. It was just the 10th graders. The topics, it was interesting, and being a social studies teacher myself, it was interesting to see the wide range. So I got to learn about the history of General Tso's chicken, the lovely Chinese dish, all the way through basically a reenactment with 3D printing of the Battle of D-Day. So that was really cool. Top students were Kyle Daw, because he had the best research paper, Andrew Pizzo, Justin Petrie or Chip Petrie, McKenna Cooper, and Owen Anderson. They had amazing displays, and then they all moved them into Mr. Glantz's room, so if you did not get to attend, you could actually go into Mr. Glantz's room and have kind of a gallery walk there.
And since we were both judges, we had influence the outcome. But I interrogate each one of them, and it is amazing the depth of their knowledge about that topic.
Oh, yeah.
So it's more than just putting up a display. They knew what they were talking about.
Yeah, I was very much impressed. And then we also had a speedball tournament, which Lexi's going to talk about. But I do want to just say, Ms. Paddle and Ms. Messina they are boundless energies for fundraising for school events, because the speedball tournament, the kids had a really good time, plus the mozzarella sticks were a big hit. So they got a lot of money for that. The other thing is, we do on March 20th, we actually decided today, talking with Ms. Guerin, we were supposed to do a career pathways fair, and since we have people coming in from different counties, we decided just to postpone it until everything kind of calms down and we can get over this, because she's already received lots of calls. There's several schools, a lot of schools, I think she said all the schools in Sullivan County and all the schools in Orange County, the ones that were doing some career fairs, they've already canceled them. And I just want to say we're going to postpone it. So she's actually in the process of calling the professionals that we had coming in just to schedule another time for end of April so we can reset it up. So we're still going to plan on doing that. Scott mentioned the 24th, our CBT ELA assessment. was actually at a principal's meeting this morning, and the question was, the state still has not said anything about CBT testing, and with everything goes down, unfortunately, if any school was closed during that time, what happens during that? So we're just waiting on the state to make a decision and give us some further guidance. But that's all I've got.
Any questions?
The blood drive, is that still taking place?
Yeah, that's on Tuesday.
Any other questions? Thank you. Student report, you're up.
And for starters, the spring sports have started. And then, as we were stating, the speedball tournament was a great turnout. Everybody had fun. The winners had big prizes. It was all over social media. Everybody had fun. Sounded like I was at work. I got to see everybody else have fun. And then for fundraisers, National Honor Society is currently selling cookie dough, so please purchase some. They're only $20 and you get like 32 cookies out of it, so it's a good deal. And then the senior class is selling kitchen goods, and I also found out that there's like dips involved too, so it's not like strictly like knives and everything.
I would too.
I thought
I bought slices.
Nobody got it.
And then next week, we have a yoga class starting after school. It was supposed to start today, but there were so many meetings that we canceled it, and it's gonna start on Monday. And then 8th grade also has extra reusable bags for sale for $5. So if anyone's interested, contact Ms. Osette, who's in charge of it.
Questions for the student?
I do, when are you doing your early fundraiser again? That you have to drive your grandmother's oh, handmade, delicious, and they're just watching them in the kitchen yelling at each other.
Anything else for the student? Good job. Would you like to leave? Feel free. President report. Three things, two quick things anyways. I have other stuff. April 7th. We have scheduled for us to meet with the senior citizens in the town of Lumberland and the town of Highland to go over the budget, like Caleb did tonight. And we have our Saturday set for the 16th of May from 10 till 1.
Loveland is April 7th.
And it's on Tuesday.
21. Yeah, no, 21st, two Tuesdays. Yeah, believe it or not, I got a calendar with it all now.
Wow.
Because I can.
I'm interested in that.
The Highland Senior Citizens is at April 21st. And 8 o'clock, we're doing the open. Anybody can come in, we'll be at the high school, library, from 10 until 1, and we'll answer any questions that you have about the budget.
Caleb, you're gonna be here.
Great, yep.
With that being said, we have an approval of a new policy, public comment policy. March 12, 2020, every reading.
So I'm going to read the policy. It's the Board of Education encouraged public participation on school-related matters at board meetings. There will be specific agenda item at each board meeting to provide an opportunity to address the board. A reasonable period of time not to exceed 30 minutes shall be set aside during the first part of each regular and special board. The president is responsible for the orderly
that being said, I will call for a motion on that public participation. Stacy, motion? Second? Stacy?
Yes.
Dory?
Yes.
Ms. Dutcher? Kristen?
Yes.
And myself, yes. So now, when there's public comment, you come up to the podium, you identify yourself, and you speak to the mic. And you'll address everything to me, and I will see fit right. You can put it, or we'll table it, and we'll get back to you within 5 business days. That being said, public comment on the consent agenda items only. Public comment? Moving on to the warrants. I had questions, I answered it, you guys had the answer. The discussions on the teachers, summer school. We do have something a little special. Mrs. Roberts. She is on the agenda to accept her retirement. How many years?
31.
31 years. Ruthie, the board here wishes you a long, healthy retirement. You've done everything good. You worked with my mom. You worked with my wife.
I've lived for 3 bosses.
Yeah. Yeah. So we
Yep.
wish you a long, healthy
The times
happy
have
retirement.
changed.
Yeah. So good luck to you, and I hope you have a great retirement. Oh, I just had one other question. The table, so I got the coaches down, or the kids to Troy, or wherever it was going to be. To Albany, and this will be Roberts. So the table and that, that's going to be tabled. So I need an approval, all right, I'm sorry, I need a motion to approve consent items 5.01 to 8.07.
I'll make that motion. Second.
All in favor? Outstanding. Old business, any old business to come before the board? No? New business? Okay. We have a walk-on, oh yeah, we have a walk-on, sorry, we have a walk-on motion, that could be late. Transportation Department compensation. Whereas the past practice has been to compensate Transportation Department employees during vacation periods where schools are closed on one half day. Be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Eldred Central School District authorizes and approves that should the governor, SED, health department, etc., force Eldred schools to close as a result of the virus, that is consent with the past practice transportation personnel will be compensated on one half pay should the closing exceed 1 week. Rationale, we have spent considerable effort and money to establish a full force in our transportation department. This full force has resulted in a lower cost overall. It is the intent of this motion not to lose that full force. Everybody on the board understands what we did with the incentives, and we saved money by doing that. And we were able to keep the school bus drivers. So I call for all in favor. I'm sorry, motion, I need a motion, sorry.
I'll second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Passed. District clerk announcement of the availability of the petitions to the Eldred Central School District Board of Education seat. There is one 5-year term available on the board commencing on July 1st, 2020 and continuing through June 30th, 2025. The seat is currently held by Ms. Dutcher. Okay. Second, public comment.
changes. I think the dialogue has been very, very helpful, so I appreciate those changes. Two quick questions. Will a certain number of students need to commit to the summer school to have it here?
No, I don't think we have a minimum. We're looking at about 25 kids, and if we have 5, then we won't have it. But I don't know what that magic number is, but it's about 20.
You're hoping for 20?
Yeah,
Good.
I think we have that many kids that need help.
Good. Okay. Second question, how much compressor station revenue is in this 11,785,000?
It's all compressor station money, really. We're not doing, so what we did was 18-19, you get the 15-35 was about what the tax rate was for Highland and Lumberland. They're the best ones to gauge by. The compressor station came in, $87 million is what it was assessed at. We are not doing, of the tax cap, 13.6% of it is a result of the compressor station. And then 1.8% is the ordinary tax cap. We're not touching the 1.8, and we're not actually taking all of the compressor station money. We just raised it up to where it met 18-19. So it's as if we didn't do a 2% increase last year and a 2% increase this year is kind of how we wanted to do it.
If I went back to the 18-19 property tax number, the difference between the 11,785 and that number would be the
What we're,
compressor station.
and that's gonna be the compressor station's tax bill, yeah. Should be about actually it should be about 1.3 million is what the compressor station's gonna pay, but if we went up that high, they would go above what we promised.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Okay, I need a motion to enter executive session. All in favor? Aye. And there will be action taken when we come out. Don't know how long we're gonna be, but there will be action taken. Everybody have a good night. Thanks for coming out.
Yeah, thank you. 'Cause I